name is Dan J. Gregory, and I am committed to hunting down the secrets of business mastery and human performance. My goal for the Unstoppable podcast is to share insights from some of the most successful entrepreneurs, inspiring thought leaders, world-class athletes, and prominent celebrities to help you to become unstoppable in business and life. Each week, I'll be bringing you a new interview with an inspiring person and sharing my own results as I pursue the answers to the question, how can I create the ultimate edge in my business, make a significant impact, and live an extraordinary life? To kick off the Unstoppable podcast, I've put together a very special 10-part series designed to help you to achieve your most adventurous goals this year. Each episode within this series will contain specific lessons to help you become unstoppable in business and life. And the first 5 episodes are available for download right now on iTunes and Stitcher. So please make sure you subscribe to the show to get the full 10-part series. All right, welcome back to episode 3 of the Unstoppable podcast. In episode 2, I shared 5 steps that you can use to overcome the fears that might be holding you back. Today's episode continues on the theme of defying our limits, and I'll be sharing some techniques for overcoming self-doubt based on some of the things that I've discovered in my own life. My outcome is to help you identify and overcome those limiting patterns that hold you back and replace them with a level of belief that gives you the power to live life at the highest levels. Let's get into it. Firstly, what is self-doubt? Self-doubt is an example of a disempowering thought pattern that can hold us back and prevent us from performing at the highest level. It can show up as uncertainty, indecision, worry. What if it doesn't work? What if I'm not good enough? What if they don't like my content? These are all the questions of doubt and not the voice of our higher self. There can be no real progress if we constantly question our own ability. We find ourselves standing in our own way of what we want when we face self-doubt. Can you think of a time where self-doubt has held you back? How has self-doubt shown up for you? Procrastination, perfectionism, inaction, inertia, confusion, indecision? At the root of all self-doubt is a lack of belief that can be traced back to a fear of not being enough. Have you ever started something important and not finished it because you didn't think it was good enough? Most of us had an experience like this at some point in our lives. I've had this experience repeatedly over the course of my business career. I remember starting to put together my first audiobook. I started out with real enthusiasm and excitement, but as soon as I hit some roadblocks, I began to question myself. Is this really good enough? How can I possibly help others when I'm still going through the struggles myself? This doubt became so pervasive and caused such inertia that I never actually finished the product. I found myself standing in the mirror asking myself, why can't I get my act together and go for what I truly desire? What's getting in the way? Why aren't I taking the action that I know I need to take and putting myself out there? It's the inner demon of doubt that had its grip. It's our thoughts more so than our circumstances that sabotage our freedom and success. We might delay taking action because we don't feel ready. We want to avoid feeling vulnerable. However, those who are successful are the ones who find a way to free themselves from their self-oppression. Think of someone you really admire, someone you consider successful. Notice how much vitality, motivation, and inner confidence that they have. They found a way to handle their doubts and fears. Therefore, self-doubt not only influences what we fail to do, but it also influences who we fail to become if we do not take back control. We have to stand guard against our insecurities and our fears to ensure that they do not grow into floods of worry that drown out our dreams, our goals, and our plans. What would life be like for you if you no longer had self-doubt? If you live from a place of total self-belief, how much more of your potential do you think you would tap into? How will this affect your actions, your results, and your momentum? For the rest of this episode, I'm going to focus on how can we take control and eliminate self-doubt. In confronting self-doubt myself, I've developed 5 steps that will help you to unleash your greatness. Number 1, the first step, as it was for fear, is self-awareness. It's impossible to fight an unknown enemy, so the first thing we must do is identify where self-doubt is present and root out how it's holding us back in life. When we become aware, we can separate ourselves from that self-doubt that plagues us. With practice, we can silence this inner demon and begin to unleash our personal power. Write down 5 areas where you have doubt or experienced self-doubt in the past so you can identify when and how self-doubt manifests. Step 2 is to interrupt self-doubt in its tracks. This may sound a little silly, but give the part of your character that feels self-doubt a name. One of my favorite singers of all time is Jim Morrison of The Doors. He lived an incredible life, made some amazing music, but he really struggled with alcohol addiction, and it's been said by his former bandmates that his character changed significantly for the worse when he was under the influence of alcohol. They named that part of his character Jimmy to reflect his negative behavior. Jimmy was not who Jim Morrison was, but it was the part of him that showed up, not only when he was under the influence, but when he was not in tune with his higher self. Do the same for the part of you where doubt shows up. The part of you that makes you anxious, the part of you that makes you feel like you're not enough, the part of you that fills you with worry, the part of you that makes you feel weak, the part of you that holds you back from taking action, the part of you which tears at your confidence and leaves you feeling fearful. Name it, because it's not who you are. I asked my partner Lizzie what the name of the part of my character which has self-doubt is called, and she said, Keith. She said it in such a tone that it first made me laugh. But then I realized that this is the part of me that shows up as a weakness, and it does not serve me. And I certainly don't want to show up in my relationship from that place, let alone any other area of my life. So if you happen to be listening to this podcast and you're called Keith, don't worry. It's not about the name, it's just a symbol. Being able to recognize the part of you that triggers self-doubt is the first step in interrupting self-doubt before it affects you. Giving it a name enables you to disassociate from it altogether. And if you choose a name that breaks your thought pattern in the moment, perhaps through laughter like I experienced, then it'll help you instantly snap out of self-doubt and shift your emotional state, which leads nicely to step 3. Step 3 is to replace self-doubt with total self-belief. Total self-belief is developed from absolute faith in ourselves. Having faith in ourselves can tear us from the grips of doubt. The emotion of faith is a deep conviction. It's a choice that we must make to believe in something and to hold on to that belief so tightly that the faith cannot be broken, even in the face of what might seem like an unsurmountable challenge. We have faith when we believe in our capabilities to succeed. The University of Chicago did a study of 100 extraordinarily successful athletes, musicians, and students. What was found was that most of these young prodigies didn't begin by showing great flashes of brilliance, but instead they received careful attention, guidance, and support, and then they started to develop. And the belief that they could be special came before any overt signs of great talent. What we believe about ourselves and our abilities is what makes the difference between a lifetime of freedom and one of misery and frustration. Beliefs are what cause some to be heroes and others to live the life of quiet desperation. Unfortunately, many of our beliefs are formed unconsciously based on our interpretations of our past experiences. However, the challenge with this is threefold. 1, most of us do not consciously decide what we're going to believe about ourselves. 2, our beliefs about ourselves are misinterpretations of past experiences. And 3, once we adopt a belief about ourselves, we forget that it's merely an interpretation of what happened in the past. The beliefs that we hold, not only about ourselves, but about every aspect of our lives, have the power to create and the power to destroy our destiny. By choosing to have faith in ourselves, we create a mental toughness that has the power to destroy doubt. We must constantly pull at the roots of doubt and act with faith. How do we do this? We replace the doubts with positive statements of belief. For example, I'll always find a way. If I can think it, I can create it. All I need is within me now. Every challenge is an opportunity for me to learn and grow. I am a force of nature. Make a list of 5 empowering beliefs of your own that can support you in developing the self-belief to achieve your highest goals. Step 4 is conditioning the new belief system. Repetition of these belief systems, or affirmations, if you will, is one of the few known methods to develop the emotion of faith. When you repeat something often enough with emotional intensity, it becomes a belief. Whether it's true or whether it's false. We've all heard the phrase, whether you believe you can or whether you believe you can't, you're probably right. Your mind will translate a thought based on self-doubt into reality as readily as it will a thought that's based on courage and faith. Who we are and what we do is a direct result of the dominating thoughts that we preoccupy our minds with. When we choose the direction of our thoughts, we choose the direction of our results. Our thoughts become our actions become our results, and our results become our reality. So take conscious control by devoting some time every single day to develop your self-belief by repeating your positive affirmations. Don't just read them, say them out loud with total intensity. The more intense you get, the deeper you drive the emotion into your mind. I created a powerful statement which I repeat every morning to kickstart my day and reinforce my self-belief as part of my morning routine. I'll read it for you. I know deep in my soul that I have the ability to achieve my goals and my definite purpose in life. Therefore, I demand of myself the persistent, continuous action towards its attainment, and I promise to take such action right now. The final step is 5, see life as you want it to become. If our thoughts determine our reality, then focusing on our deepest desires will help make them a reality and enhance our ability to rise beyond the doubts. Begin each day focused on the vision which you developed in episode 1, your burning desire, and begin to combine that vision with total self-belief and faith. You can establish a greater sense of self-belief by creating the experience in your mind that you desire in the future as if it was here right now. I call this experiencing the result in advance. Seeing the result as you want it to be will change your state, your belief, and your actions. Try this out for yourself. Close your eyes and picture all the things that you're working towards, that you're excited about, all the things that you want to achieve. Notice how you'll feel when you're there. See how great life is. When you allow yourself to act as if you're already in possession of the things that you're working on, the belief and the faith that it will be carried out will inevitably follow as you take the action required to make your own vision a reality. I hope these Jedi mind tricks, as I called them, make sense and are useful to you. These tools are now at your fingertips, and I urge you to use them. For years, I had the intellectual knowledge of how to shift my self-belief like you do now, but until you make these steps a consistent practice, nothing will change. To help, I've put all these steps in the show notes over at unstoppablepodcast.com/doubt. So check them out and join the conversation, and come and let us know what your character name is for the part of you that has doubt. If you're an entrepreneur or you want to start your own business and you find that your fears and doubts are holding you back from unleashing your greatness and performing at the level you know you're capable of, then why not hop on a call with me and we can bust through those things that are holding you back. Go to unstoppablepodcast.com/strategy session and sign up for your free 40-minute session with me. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Unstoppable Podcast. Remember to subscribe on iTunes to make sure you receive the full 10-part series. And whilst you're there, I would be hugely grateful if you'd please leave a 5-star review to help spread the word. In the next episode of this 10-part series, I'll be showing you how to get out of a stuck state when you're struggling to make decisions. As an entrepreneur, the buck stops with you, so making powerful decisions is so important to keep momentum in your business. So in episode 4, we'll look how you can get out of confusion and make clear, committed decisions. The episode is now live on iTunes. If you're ready to rock and roll, I'll see you in a few moments. If not, until next time, live without limits. Get ready to be unstoppable.